Solana holders, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. We're going to waste no more time and take a look at what's happening with Solana today as of November 17th. If you watch my market analysis update, you guys should know what's going on. If not, we're going to take a look at Solana closer and see what's happening with the price. If you're interested in these updates, you guys know what to do. And again, I've said this in some of my most recent updates. Give yourself a pat on the back if you're still here, because let's face it, retail interest, in crypto is just very, very low. I would say, the lowest that we have seen for quite some time. So Sol right now is down about 4% on the daily time frame, but most importantly, take a look at it on a monthly time frame, down 28%. Price right now, $133.61. We're up about 0.3% on the Bitcoin side of things. Valuation, 73.87 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at 8 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So, big day for Solana tomorrow. But yeah, the price is not really doing that because of the broader market. This is why we just cannot ignore, the leader, which again is Bitcoin in this case. But you can see Fidelity recently rolled out direct spot Solana trading. Tomorrow they'll launch a spot Solana ETF. So both direct Solana access and spot ETFs. World's third largest asset manager. Welcome to the future. Still surprised BlackRock is sitting out on this one. And again, from a BlackRock standpoint, I've already shared my personal opinion on that. The reason why BlackRock comes up every time is because they're the biggest asset manager globally when it comes to the financial world. But I think they understand that they have that edge, and what I mean by that is, regardless of other competitors going live, they know if they were to ever launch their Solana ETFs or crypto ETFs, for example, they know it would do quite well because again they are the biggest ones in the space. So if that is in their pipeline, I'm sure they're not too worried about that. But huge time for Solana, and not just for the Solana community but crypto community as a whole. Yes, the market is pulling down right now, but this is what we wanted to see. And we are seeing a lot of things happening. Bitcoin obviously seeing quite a big retracement, as we could see for ourselves. That's going to drag the broader market down with it. But I think, in terms of an opportunity standpoint, it speaks for itself for a lot of people, because, people that are still here. And like I said, that is very low amounts right now due to, the market conditions. But if you're still here, just give yourself a pat on the back because there is a lot of uncertainty right now and a lot of fear. But remember, there's a famous saying, be greedy while others are fearful, be fearful while others are greedy. The ones that are being greedy right now are usually the people that do end up doing good long term. But of course, we need to understand diversification is key. And, patience is your number one key to follow. Risk factor is always there, but that's where your due diligence comes into play. But with that said, Bitcoin dominance, you could see free fall right now. It's a good thing that you're seeing dominance, pulling down with Bitcoin breaking down. I've said this 100 times on the channel. You just don't want to see, if when Bitcoin is in a downward trajectory, you just don't want to see this number going up. You just don't, because altcoins are going to have, more of an impact in a negative way in that case. If you're looking at Sol's price right now, I'm sorry, Bitcoin's price, let's give it a refresh live. I don't know what's going on here. Bitcoin currently sitting at $91,647. We're below 0.50. Even though we're seeing a little bit of a bounce, we might even push back into the 0.50. But again, I'm pretty much content with, that the price of Bitcoin is going to start retesting 89K range. Dropping below 90K, which we were very close to doing so. You can see for yourself, we were actually at $90,853. Dropping below 90K opens the door for us to get down to 89, and then the door is open for us to get to my main level, which is at $86,000. So yeah, you might see a little bit of a bounce here and there, but the biggest weakness here is, of course, what we saw happening over the weekend. And just today, breaking below the 0.50, you saw the price initially try to see a little bit of a bounce, but got rejected exactly at that resistance. So that is showing me a weakness here. But again, Bitcoin currently seeing a bounce. We might even come up to the 92K key range, might see a few of those. But ultimately, I am still expecting a little bit more downside. But look what ended up happening with Solana here. Solana ended up retesting the support line that we spoke about, as you could see for yourself, at the 100 $29 price point. You can see for yourself, we retested that key range for the first time since June of this year. You can see for yourself, last time that was where we retested, but that was, obviously, retracement after we saw this big bounce into the 38.2. The market kind of, cooled off, and then Solana started going up to its, September high, as you can see for yourself. Not an all-time high, but yeah, that is something obviously we want to kind of keep in mind. But take a look at it for yourself. That exact same support line has been retested. Don't be surprised that we're seeing a little bit of a bounce from there, because that is a significant support line. Time and time out, I've talked to you guys about this key range. It kind of takes us back down to the good old days of March. But most importantly, back in the previous cycle, you could see for yourself, this was a significant support for Sol. But we've seen a little bit of a bounce from that key range. We're in the 61.8 right now, but again, this bounce, I'm not too surprised. Bitcoin also did see a little bit of a bounce, but I think we will break below this key range and maybe retest, some of the lower levels for Sol at around $121. The question that I got the most from my last Solana update is whether I think, we're going to see Solana retesting April lows, which was, a market low for Bitcoin as well, along with the traditional market. But if you want to put that into perspective, that itself is a move of about, you could see 27.39%. Right now, dominance, like I said, is pulling down. Hopefully it continues to do that. But if dominance, picks up, and, let's say dominance, picks up, Bitcoin does pull back down to 86K range, which I think it is going to do so, because we're in the 61.8. That's only about a 5% move from where we currently are. So, let's say the dominance remains around here. Obviously, I usually think if Bitcoin's going to drop 5%, you're going to see altcoins drop in double. So let's give or take, Solana pulling down about, you could say, 11% from where we currently are. That puts the price at around, you can see, $118. So still remaining within the 61.8 fib zone. So that's the target I'm kind of keeping an eye out for right now. And I definitely think that is a possibility for Sol to do. Right now, obviously, we retested it, but seeing a little bit of a bounce. But again, if we retest this support again, if Bitcoin drops below 91K, I think, we break below here and we could start retesting some of these lower levels. But the sooner this happens, the better it is, in my opinion. You just don't want to see the price of Sol dropping below the April lows. And that could be said with Bitcoin as well, as I've stated to you guys before. Even though Bitcoin would complete the wave, and I've stated to you guys before that, even if Bitcoin comes down to, $78,000, we're still in this upward trend. Obviously, I was been talking specifically about the 86K key range, but, even if we come down to $78,000, as long as we don't break below this key range here at 74K, we are still in this upward trend, believe it or not. But if we break below the $74,000 price point, this would be quite bearish, in my opinion, and that would invalidate, the entire cycle of this upward trend that we're in. So that's not something that we want to see happening. Maybe we come down to, this key range. If we obviously were to potentially drop below even the 61.8, this is where I'm pretty much coming. Maybe come down to some of these lower levels. Obviously, we do have some support around that key range, but you just don't want to see the price drop in below this key support, which of course was an all-time high back on March 17th. But again, you got to take it one step at a time here, for Bitcoin. And obviously that is going to have, let's say, we do go down to, like, my target is 86K, but that doesn't mean the price of Bitcoin cannot just, drop below the 61.8 key support line. Let's say just at the support itself, that's about a 7.3% move. If you were to ask me the next major support line after the 61.8, we do have some support around 80K. So 80,000, that's about a 12% move from where we currently are. If this were to play out and dominance were to hover around here, Sol can definitely pull down to these levels, in my opinion. But if we go down to 86K key range and the dominance continues to, float around where it is, then I'm just projecting for Sol to retest, closer to the 61.8 level that I spoke to you guys about. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Thank you so much for all your support here, for the Sol holders. Obviously, I've been seeing the comments. Most people, when it comes to the Solana price point or even crypto, they are in it for the long haul, especially the ones that are here at this point. Because let's face it, majority of the people are not here at this point because, of course, the market's not just too bullish right now. Market is actually in a downward trajectory, and during those times, you do tend to see a lot of fear, and you don't really tend to see a lot of people being interested. But around these times, take a look at this year too. I've been making crypto videos when Sol was, you could see for yourself, 20 bucks per Sol. And people are getting worried here, but there were people here that were accumulating, and the ones that did, they ended up doing quite well for themselves this cycle. So you know, there comes time where there's a lot of uncertainty. No one's really bidding, and I think we're nowhere near as to what we saw happening back in 2023 and obviously 2022. But that's something I want you guys to keep in mind. Bitcoin's something we want to be paying very close attention to. This support line. Obviously, we're seeing a little bit of a bounce, but I still do expect that we maybe retest some of the lower levels based off of the market conditions. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.